Can you override first name member in employee? Yes and no. We're going to be talking about virtual members here pretty soon and the new keyword. So inheritance is used to share functionality or to inherit from functionality. But that being said, I'm really hesitant to start throwing up the most common inheritance examples. Like most people like this example where you have, an animal type, and then you have a dog type that inherits from animals, so that you have different properties and all that stuff, and that's all cool. But the fact is that inheritance is something that I stay away from as much as possible because it does limit things in certain circumstances. Now, you really do have to be familiar and comfortable with the concept, especially when reading other people's code. And there are plenty of instances where inheritance is appropriate, but it's difficult to kind of go over them without getting into virtual members. Now, virtual members are a way to actually provide different functionality for a base type or for a child type that the base type might have. And we're going to be getting into that next. But for right now, are there any instance or any more questions about the print person method takes in a person type, but if you pass in Nelson, which is an employee type, it still works? Yep. That's one of the things about inheritance. You get implicit conversion to the base types, meaning that an employee can be treated as a person at any point. Can you inherit data from an existing person into an employee? Not by default, no. That being said, we could write a little method here called public void copy that takes in a person, and we can say first name equals person dot first name, last name equals person dot last name, and then inside of main we can say Nelson equals new employee, and then we can say Nelson dot copy P1. What I've effectively done is taken advantage of the implicit casting here, where I can pass in the person into the copy method, and it's just going to copy into the two properties that we have inherited from these two properties on the person. So as a result, if I were to run this, you'll notice that we get two RDs. So you can't really inherit data. Remember this very important thing about classes. Classes are a compile time construct. Although there is such a thing in C# as reflection, or .NET in particular, classes are primarily just compile time constructs that allow you to construct objects, which are runtime constructs. As a result, there's no way to inherit data because data is a runtime concept. You can't really do that in the context of a class. You can inherit parts of the template. You can inherit the fact that person has a first name and a last name and a copy method, and you can bring that into any other type that you wish by using inheritance. But there's no way to implicitly inherit data because that doesn't make any sense. Can an employee be inherited, say, to a janitor class? Oh, certainly. That being said, this is not good design, but you can do this. That being said, like I said, this isn't good design. In fact, we're going to be spending a lot of time not using inheritance to solve problems that were typically used, that people used inheritance to solve. And I'll be going over the reasons why inheritance isn't such a good idea when you start getting really, really in-depth hierarchies. If you created a class CEO and inherited from employee, would the base class still be considered person? The base class, if I did this, if I said CEO is an employee and an employee is a person and a person is, well, just an object. CEO, the base type for CEO is employee, but the base type of employee is a person. You can inherit as many levels deep as you want to.